entered your destination.
Welcome back to Destination Pro Wrestling here on YouTube. My name is Tony, and you guys can follow me on Twitter at Tango with Tango. Guys, make sure you click that link in the description. Follow me on Twitter. We have a major giveaway being planned for the channel. More info will come out here on the channel, as well as it will be announced on Twitter. But other than that, I don't really want to talk too much about the channel or anything. I want to talk to you guys about Double or Nothing, because this pay-per-view is coming up next month during Memorial Day weekend. I'm going to be in Las Vegas, and I'm excited for Double or Nothing. But, you know, by looking at this card, this is a very interesting card. So I want to talk about this card because you can tell there's going to be a lot planned for this show. And Tony Khan actually reveals that there are many surprises being planned for Double or Nothing. So I'm very excited about that, especially because technically I will be at the first ever pay-per-view by All Elite Wrestling. So let's say AEW becomes one of the biggest pro wrestling companies in the world. I don't know, let's just say it happens. I could say I was there, and I could say I was there when so-and-so showed up. Now, I've compiled a list on 5 people who I believe could be legitimate, actual surprise debuts at Double or Nothing. Now, throughout this list, I'm going to go one by one and talk specifically about why I think they're going to be a surprise entrant. And I'm going to tell you guys how I feel about them long-term in AEW, some of the pros and cons and all that good stuff. So, with that being said, guys, click that subscribe button. More WWE, AEW, New Japan, Ring of Honor. We're talking about a lot of pro wrestling here on this channel. We got some live streams planned, and let's just kick it off. Dean Ambrose, number 1. Yeah, I didn't want to make you guys wait for like 10 minutes just to wait for the name Dean Ambrose, because we've talked a lot about Dean Ambrose on this channel. We talked a lot about where we see him going, and you know, we really thought WWE was working us for a very long time. If you guys do follow me on Twitter, one of the things I kept bringing up was I think WWE is working us when it comes to Dean Ambrose, because I didn't think they were actually going to do a send-off like the way they did. And this actually led me to get into like a back and forth on Twitter with a WWE former writer. This led to a lot of people coming to me saying like, you're wrong. A lot of people kind of trashed my opinion, but I got to be honest here. You know, it did not make sense for the way Dean Ambrose departed WWE. For WWE to show so much love and so much, you know, so they put so much energy into Dean Ambrose leaving WWE. I thought they would be really stupid to do that if you were to walk right through the doors of AEW, especially in their first ever pay-per-view. But it's true. Dean Ambrose is not with WWE, and that's why, you know, this actually makes sense for both parties, right? Like for AEW, not only do you get a top quality superstar, you get a really good wrestler, you get a guy who's great at cutting promos, and his background in professional wrestling is exactly what AEW could benefit from. So, you know, Dean Ambrose is number 1 on the list for a lot of reasons, but I want to kind of break it down. We discussed here on the channel, and I'll put the link in the description, but we discussed Dean Ambrose being offered like a $6 million contract just to sign with AEW, which for a lot of people, they said this was unheard of. This doesn't sound legit. But it does sound legit because AEW is looking for a top guy to join their company. And, you know, one of the things that I absolutely loved about this particular rumor was the fact that AEW stars such as Chris Jericho has even come out and said, listen, like, this is a guy we would be foolish not to have. Like, he's a great superstar, and anytime you could sign a guy like this, it's absolutely worth it. So not only are the bloggers and the social media influencers and the YouTubers talking about it, not only are the fans talking about it, but AEW stars themselves are talking about Dean Ambrose. So this is a very legitimate possibility that he could show up at Double or Nothing. I think if Dean Ambrose does, in fact, sign with AEW, which it is a big what if, but if it does happen, I think AEW's Double or Nothing pay-per-view is the time that it happens. And honestly, what a win for Dean Ambrose to get paid a high-level contract, guaranteed main event spot at this point. And on top of that, we're going to get some fresh matchups from Dean Ambrose that we've never seen. And in addition to all of that, he gets to work a lighter schedule, I'm sure he's going to have a little bit of, creative control in some capacity. I guarantee, with one of the things that AEW is being touted, it's people have a little bit more freedom here. And a guy like Dean Ambrose, who is so incredibly gifted at being creative, in a place like WWE, that's just not necessarily an opportunity for you. So AEW is the perfect fit. I think Dean Ambrose absolutely shows up. But there's another name on this list that I think is very, very interesting, and that is Johnny Impact, or in this case, Johnny Elite. Now, I know some of you guys just don't see this happening, but we have to be realistic here. AEW is known to be working on some great relationships with wrestling companies all around the world. And of course, having the Impact Wrestling World Champion, Johnny Impact, show up at Double or Nothing is not only a great thing for AEW, but it's a fantastic thing for Impact because now they're being associated with the number 2 company in pro wrestling. So, Impact Wrestling, AEW, MLW, these are companies that we're starting to see like a talent share. And I think Johnny Impact is very well on his way to going to Double or Nothing. Now, whether he signs with AEW long term or whether this is kind of like a small, unique talent share, either way, it works out very, very well. I always think it's funny because with Johnny Impact, his name constantly changes. So in this situation, we're going to call him Johnny Elite. Yeah, Johnny Elite, right? Because, if he could be Johnny Impact, he could be Johnny Elite. But I do think John Morrison is a wonderful talent. He's a great world champion. He's doing some really cool heel character stuff with Taya Valkyrie. So I think seeing the duo crash the party at Double or Nothing would be very, very interesting. I think it would be a very cool move, again, not only for AEW because they do get a veteran, but they also get a world champion from another promotion, which that's always a good thing too. And it's not like this guy is like a rookie. Everybody knows John Morrison's history. He's pretty much everywhere. Obviously, AAA as well, which we all know AAA and AEW have a working relationship as well. Number 3 on the list is none other than AA Austin Aries. So if you guys didn't know, Austin Aries had posted on social media a picture and a little bit of a caption talking about how he is ready for Vegas. It was a very, very big tease. And of course, social media ran with it. They believe that Austin Aries is showing up at AEW. Now, I'm a fan of Austin Aries, but I'm not a fan of some of the stories that have come out about Austin Aries. And I say stories because none of us really know if it's true, with the false finishes and him walking out on Impact and everything like that. But a guy like Austin Aries is an absolute stud when it comes to in-ring work. And I think he could even cut a pretty damn good promo. So at Double or Nothing, having a guy like Austin Aries show up, it's a very, very cool thing, especially because he has been touted for a very long time as the belt collector. Now, people disagree with some of his things that have come out, and obviously his reputation online isn't the best. But again, online isn't always accurate. So a guy like Austin Aries coming into AEW, the sport-centric wrestling promotion, if they're looking for a top guy, Austin Aries has proved before he can do it. Not only that, he does have a little bit of, experience in the WWE. So, I think Austin Aries going to AEW is a huge move for AEW. For Austin Aries, I'm not too sure on how he benefits from this other than being on, a highly, highly visible pro wrestling product. We know big things are happening with this upcoming TV deal. We know that the social media influence of AEW is big. Austin Aries getting back on track and fixing his so-called crappy reputation. It's a win situation for him, but this is a big steal for AEW if they are, in fact, able to secure this. And then again, Austin Aries showing up at AEW, whether we get the feud with, Hangman Page or whatever it may be, there's just so much opportunity there. This is a guy that you want as a heel in your company. And, that's the thing with AEW being more sports centric, a little bit more of an athletic background. He's able to provide both. So Austin Aries going to AEW is a good move. But what about the next guy, Jack Swagger? So we talked about Jack Swagger 3 months ago on the channel. It was rumored that Jack Swagger would actually go to AEW. We talked about this here on the channel. He had interest. He's friends with the guys at AEW. AEW was interested in him. They're fans of him and his MMA work. And I think this is a great situation for both parties, honestly. Jack Swagger wants to be an MMA fighter. He's doing very well with that at Bellator. And, I think if you could kind of mix that athletic background with what AEW's vision is for their product, he's going to bring a little bit more of that realism to the show. So in this situation, Jack Swagger is absolutely a big surprise that I think, if executed well, this is going to be huge. And last but not least, we got to talk about Ty Dillinger, guys. You know, it's so easy to throw the name CM Punk, but I want to be realistic here with the 5 stars that I truly believe can show up at Double or Nothing. And Ty Dillinger is at the stage in his career. It would be a very, very big moment for AEW to bring in Ty Dillinger. Now, with Ty Dillinger, we know that he's capable of being a great wrestler, and we know that he's capable of being a great superstar. And with AEW, you kind of have to fuse the two. Ty Dillinger wasn't really given that chance in WWE. That's why he was granted his release. Ty Dillinger going to AEW, making a big name for himself there, especially at Double or Nothing, is a great way to throw the middle finger at WWE and say, look, this is what you lost out on. I'm excited, actually, throughout this entire list. I know some of these names could have been somewhat predictable, but Ty Dillinger might be the most predictable. And honestly, a lot of people are going to be very, very happy with that if it happens, especially the more hardcore audience loves Ty Dillinger, and I absolutely do too. And that's the thing here about AEW. I know AEW doesn't want to, I know they don't want to take a lot of people from WWE, but in this scenario, I mean, you have a little bit of a mix. Austin Aries has pretty much experience everywhere in the wrestling world. Jack Swagger, is doing the independent thing. He's doing the MMA thing, and he was a WWE star. Ty Dillinger, same thing. And then obviously Johnny Impact, who had experience everywhere as well. And then obviously Dean Ambrose. So I feel like this list compiled all together is a great mixture. But ultimately, I want to know what you guys think in the comment section down below. So with that being said, make sure you guys leave a comment down below. I'm going to respond to all your guys' comments. And if you guys disagree or if you guys have other names, drop them and let us know what you think. With that being said, guys, thank you so much for watching Destination Pro Wrestling. I'll see you guys in Vegas. Take care.
You've arrived at your destination.